Alright, this dash is kind of floppy. It's got a lot of real narrow areas. In particular, this area right here is really easy to bend. So be very careful, try not to bend that. And a lot of these areas where the metal is real thin, up here around the steering wheel, over here around your vent outlets, your HVAC control, and then your radio, it's thin in there, so just be careful. But being thin, that kind of poses a problem. I don't, because I'm going to have to cut these welds out of here to get the whole dash out. And I don't want this dash to be, even though it'll, you know, when I put it back in, it'll be bolted in all its places that I just showed you. I don't want the top of it here to be real flimsy. So what I'm going to do, is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here underneath and make some tabs that I'm going to spot weld to the dash through the top. I'll drill a hole and put a spot weld up through the top. And then here against, this is actually the cowl. The firewall is further down. So this is actually the cowl under here. But I'll put a probably just a self-tapping sheet metal screw through there. So there'll be kind of an L bracket in this area welded to the dash, and then with the sheet metal screw bolted to the cowl. And I'm probably going to put in, there's going to be one here on the end, probably going to be two on either side of the speaker outlet, and then similarly on the other end I'll put another one here. So there'll be a total of 4 little brackets that I'm going to weld in there. And I may even come in with some more material, like some 16 gauge or something, and beef up, just double up the thickness of this flange right here so that it's not so floppy. Give it some strength. So first thing I got to do is start cutting out my little brackets that I'm going to use to, when I reinstall the dash, bolt it back up to the cab. So I'll get started on that. Alright, I've got my material here. This is just a piece of 16 gauge flat plate that I had laying around. I got to clean up this edge because I used a plasma cutter to cut this, and I'm going to use a cutoff disc to cut my little, these are going to be the little tabs that are going to be welded to the dash and then bolted to the cowl. And I've gone in and I've measured. I'm just going to do, they're going to be 3 inches in total length. It'll be 1.5 inches on either side of where they're going to be bent, and then I'll just adjust them from there. They may need to be a little shorter on one end or so forth, but 1.5 inches is plenty. I'll likely need to cut down from there, but I'll modify them after the fact. So anyway, I'm just going to cut them just out of this 16 gauge, and I'm actually going to make 6. I originally said 4, and I've looked at it and I've got room for 6, and so I would like to use as many as possible. So I'm going to make 6, and I'll get started on that. Alright, I got my 6 pieces marked. They're 1.25 inches wide, and like I said, they're 3 inches long. That'll give me 1.5 inches on either side of the bend. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and some left over. We got enough here if I wanted to make 2 more. I don't think I got the room for that. So anyway, I got them marked out and just need to switch the grinder over to the cutting discs and start cutting these out. Alright, there's all 6.